I'm Madison Timmons.
And I'm JT Timmons.
And we're the co-creators of the hit podcast, The Most Haunted City on Earth.
Look, we love ghosts, but we also love true crime. So we here at Haunted City Studios decided to create From One to Wicked,
a true crime podcast with a killer twist. We'll investigate,
discuss,
then rate
the most brutal and devious crimes and the monsters who commit them
on a scale from 1 to wicked. So sit back and kill some time with us.
And remember, next time you're walking down the street,
you might just be passing a perfect wicked 10. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of From One to Wicked. My name is Madison Timmons.
And I'm JT Timmons.
And today we are going to be talking about a very hot topic, the House of Prayer Christian Church cult.
100%. It is a cult.
Tiana Moreno said she was born into the church, attending the Washington State location. However, at 17, she moved to Hinesville for schooling, after church leaders told their members attending a public school was forbidden.
We were always made to feel like Rony Dennis is this man of God and how he prays for everybody. And of course, we started wondering different things, why he disappeared and we weren't seeing him anymore and he wasn't interacting with the church and stuff like that, you know. But everybody just kind of tried to brush it off as like, well, he's doing important things. Obviously, we know now that it was not the case.
Rony Dennis is just one of the 8 men who are accused of committing long-running conspiracies of fraud. Dennis was the founder of the House of Prayer Church. However, Rony Dennis was not his real name, but an identity he allegedly stole in 1983. According to the DOJ, Dennis was indicted on charges of conspiracy to commit bank fraud, wire fraud, and assisting in a false tax return. Moreno left the church in September of 2021, but said during her time there was always a pressure to give money.
Over the process of time, just started to see how different things, they were just demanding more and more money out of us, and they were funding all these so-called missionary trips and asking for the members to constantly donate, and my ex-husband was giving money all the time.
Pastor Bernadette Sexman Jr. was someone Moreno ran into on occasion. However, he is now being indicted with a variety of sex offense charges involving a minor. Looking back, she said this also doesn't come as a shock.
Make comments all the time he is really weirdly close with teenagers and has a very weird friendship with them, and he's not the only one.
The Federal Bureau of Investigations is now asking for individuals to speak out if you have any useful information, as they say they want to hold all who are responsible accountable.
The FBI is actively seeking additional victims of fraud schemes. So if you or somebody you know had contact with the House of Prayer Christian Churches of America or the House of Prayer Bible Seminary and believe your personal information, benefits, or finances were misused, we are asking that you please come forward.
I'm excited. I know
Say
nothing
that
about
5
it.
times fast. It's
Yeah.
So it's funny that you say that, because you actually do know this cult, but you don't realize that you know this cult.
Okay.
Well, so funny enough, when I was doing research on this cult, I came to find out that it's located in Hinesville. Now, Hinesville is 45 minutes south-ish of Savannah. And we used to have an intern many years ago who was from Ludowici, which is right next to Hinesville. And she told me that there was a church that was a cult in Hinesville back in 2018, 2019. And I did not retain this information because it was really just a quick story. She's like, they're so weird. They're always begging for money. They always are coming around trying to sell you weird things.
It's starting to ring a bell.
Remember? So she was like, yeah, they came to our house and were adamant that we buy a TV from them. So
I do kind of remember.
Yes.
That.
So that's this cult.
No way.
Yeah. And I was shook.
What?
Yeah, I was shook when...
Yeah, the TV.
Yeah, and she was like, it was so weird.
Oh my gosh, I do remember this.
Yeah, and how they stop people in Walmart and try to tell them the good news. But
oh my gosh.
But they're really...
Maybe the second episode we do once every one, maybe when everything is wrapped up, we can get her on the podcast because I'm sure she would. She lives in California now. She got far away from Ludowici.
Yeah, but... Yeah, it's interesting though, and it was fascinating how much information I could find on it already, even though this is a really new case to break to the media. But they've definitely seen their fair share of police activity in the past years. But I'll get into it.
Cool.
So,
all right, let's jump into it then.
So first off, here is like the man who started it all. Here's his photo. His name's Rony Dennis.
Rony Dennis.
But it's RonyDenis. Okay. Neither one spelled traditionally, and you'll come to find out probably why.
Okay.
And here's a photo of inside the church, so that you can picture it. And this is a photo. It looks
like a normal church.
It looks like a normal church.
Not gonna lie, y'all.
Yeah.
It's got 5 speakers up top, 2 on the wall, chairs, a really nice like marble black floor. I mean, it looks like
deceiving, truly. So the House of Prayer Christian Church is a religious organization based in Hinesville, Georgia, but they have locations in multiple different states. The organization is technically described as a Pentecostal church and was founded in 2002 by Rony Dennis in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So their beliefs particularly are deeply rooted in the American Revival of 1857, which was basically a push for evangelical practices. A lot of the evangelical type churches, whether they know it or not, do pull a lot of the tactics used from the American Revival.
Gotcha.
And they like to say that evangelicalism isn't a thing, that we're reviving God in society. And that's their tactic to get around it.
Okay.
Their website's so strange, y'all. Wait till we get to that part. But by 2022, the organization had expanded its operations to include 12 local churches, including its mother church in Hinesville, and several seminaries across multiple states. And if you don't know what a seminary is, it's basically a school that people can go to become pastors. And typically, they have to be accredited. Mm-hmm. But that's not the case with these people.
Oh, it wasn't credited at all?
Wait till you hear. These people are con artists to the max. It is unbelievable. But a little bit about their history that I could find. That, by the way, you'll probably wonder why there's no history on Rony Dennis. Rony Dennis is basically unrecorded on any sort of social media, any sort of government files, because it's not his real name.
Oh.
We don't know what his real name is.
And he spelled it weird. RonyDenis. Probably so if people do hear about him.
Yeah, they misspell it.
They're misspelling it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I'll talk more about that, but if you're listening to this episode and you're like, wait, I want to know more about Rony, nobody knows about Rony. No, but even the FBI, when you look up the names of everybody they're looking for, they say, we don't know the actual name of this person, but he goes by Rony Dennis, and we don't know how old he is.
Whoa.
Because there's no social security, there's no birth certificate, there's nothing. So
he's hiding in plain sight.
He is hiding in plain sight. But yeah, so the acronym for it is HOPCC. HOPCC. HOPC. And it's established in 2004 by Rony Dennis, whose work in Christian ministry may date back to at least 1989 and serves as an alleged place of worship and community gathering.
Okay.
So Dennis had previously served as a minister at the New Testament Church of Christ, a Christian church with nationwide locations, including in Hinesville and Graham, Washington. So in 2003, Dennis persuaded 15 other ministers from the New Testament denomination to leave their church and join him in forming a new organization, which was officially established the following year. Okay. So Dennis established the organization in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. However, he soon relocated HOPCC's headquarters to Hinesville, where he had previously ministered with the New Testament.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, you'll find out why he picked Hinesville. It was strategic.
Okay.
So Dennis established the organization there, and according to the reporting from the Savannah Morning News, HOPCC registered with the Georgia Secretary of State on May 18, 2004.
Let's just call it HOPC.
HOPC. Yeah, I might just call it House of Prayer. Make it easier.
Yeah.
It is officially owned by a foreign nonprofit group called House of Prayer Christian Churches of America, Incorporated, a 501c3 organization. Interesting that it's a foreign nonprofit group.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, where do they know where? They haven't told us how foreign it is.
No, because
or where it is, I guess.
This case is just breaking. So just remember that.
Yeah.
There is information that I'm sure the FBI at this point knows, but they're going to keep it close to the chest because they don't want runners.
Sure. Sure.
So, yeah. But after House of Prayer established, several people who had been congregants of Dennis's church at New Testament followed him to his new organization. And, which is not uncommon. A lot of times, because in multiple denominations, pastors aren't allowed to stay at a church for after a certain amount of time, because the idea is they don't want people to become attached to the pastor. They want people to just hear the word that is being told. But that doesn't stop people from following a pastor that they really enjoy. And apparently he was very charismatic, so that's not shocking.
What, a cult leader? Charismatic?
I know.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And regarding the theology of the House of Prayer, in 2017, a member named Cesar Vargas stated that the church was Pentecostal, further saying, "We are what the Assemblies of God, that Church of God and Methodists were 100 years ago," which is extreme.
Yeah.
So by 2022, House of Prayer operated 12 of the local churches across the country, as well as the several seminaries. And of these churches, 11 were located near American military installations, including in Killian, Texas, located 4 miles from Fort Hood, one in Tacoma, Washington near Joint Base Lewis McChord, and another in the Augusta metropolitan area near Fort Gordon. So he picked Hinesville because you're near 2 military bases, one in Savannah and one in Hinesville.
I'm very interested to see why he would do that.
Yeah.
Because that is...
It's
I can't
very
figure.
specific.
I can't think why.
You'll figure out.
Okay.
Trust me. It'll come into play very soon. So the organization's principal church and headquarters, situated in Hinesville, Liberty County, were only situated less than 8 miles from Fort Stewart.
Okay.
So on average, each of these churches had a membership of between 50 and 100 people. And being that this is considered a cult, 50 to 100 people in all of these churches means a lot of members and a lot of people damaged by this. And so, however, the attendance would often double during sermons that were delivered by Dennis, who several former members of the organization have described as being a charismatic preacher. And as of 2022, Dennis reportedly resided in Augusta. He owned 3 mansions, including 1 in Florida and 2 in Georgia, and possessed at least 2 Rolls-Royce vehicles.
Oh, boy.
Which I don't know if you guys have ever met any pastors, but they don't usually have that much money.
No, they definitely don't drive around a Rolls-Royce.
Exactly. So getting into some of the allegations, starting around the 2010s, several former members started accusing the church of being a cult and having accused the organization and its leaders of a series of wrongdoings. These allegations have included verbal abuse, manipulation, fraud, and forgery, among others. And according to reporting from the Hinesville-based Coastal Courier newspaper, several former members have accused the organization of child abuse.
Damn.
Yeah. So they did all of it. Every single bit of it.
Sure did.
And additionally, some former members have accused Dennis of committing fraud and manipulating church members, which, from what I read, he did.
Jeez.
According to the Courier, a former member who had followed Dennis from the New Testament to the House of Prayer has claimed that Dennis became money hungry at the new church. And former members have also accused Dennis of claiming to be a deity and restricting the church members' access to the internet and certain electronic devices, including cell phones.
Oh, wow.
So he was cutting these people off entirely, completely isolating them.
Sure.
And also, according to some former members, Dennis had the authority to select whom the church members could date and marry.
Now, that's getting culty.
He also claimed to possess the power to perform divorces, which one former member alleged he did to her marriage after she refused to testify.
What?
Yeah, so because when I say testifying, I'm not talking about in the court sense.
Yeah,
I'm talking about in when you get into these churches that are really intense, testimony is a really big deal, which means how did the church change your life? And that's how they recruit new people. So what he wanted this person to do was to go out and say their testimony to recruit new people, and she wouldn't do it. Oh. And so he divorced her.
Dang. So he said, well, then you don't get to be married.
Exactly.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. And according to Arlene Braden, a former member and pastor, because there are multiple pastors at this church, because Dennis was the higher up, and he preached every once in a while.
Yeah.
But like any cult, they make they delegate to their favorites. But Arlene Braden was a former member and a pastor with House of Prayer. Dennis had initially agreed to allow local churches a large degree of autonomy, but employed a conference call system to directly communicate and preach to all the churches, saying someone could be preaching or singing a song, and when the polycom rang, you heard it through the PA system, and everybody had to sit and listen to Dennis. So he would hire these pastors and say, you can create whatever you want for your sermon, you can preach whatever you want that week. But he had the full control to interrupt it, and if he interrupted your sermon or your worship session, whatever that might be, literally everybody had to stop and listen to him.
Jeez.
Yeah, and he put this Polycom system in all 12 of the churches, so he could be in Hinesville and he could be interrupting the sermon in Washington if he wanted to.
Stop it.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. So several former members have stated that the church often focused their recruitment efforts on members of the United States Armed Forces. One soldier stationed at Fort Stewart informed the Augusta Chronicle that a meeting had taken place at one of the barracks. During the meeting, soldiers were informed that a nearby church was targeting military personnel. And in 2022, a representative from Fort Gordon confirmed that the organization was indeed targeting military members on the base. The Chronicle reported that there were allegations of some church members sneaking into the barracks at Fort Hood and threatening soldiers. And in 2020...
What?
Yeah, literally.
What?
Literally.
Is this where you're telling me about why he is targeting military, or
yes.
is there still more?
Oh, you'll see why.
I want to know why he's.
You'll hear more why he wanted military.
Seems
people.
like not the place to go to, right? Because it's very heavily watched and controlled.
Listen, it's high risk, high reward, and he got the high reward, and you'll hear why. That's why
this dude's wild.
He is brazen. And he did not care because he knew he could slide under the radar because the government doesn't know he exists.
So they do now.
They do now. But they still don't know exactly who he is. They know he's a human being that's in front of them, but they don't know anything else about him, which is crazy.
This happened right by us, y'all.
Yeah.
This is 45 minutes
There's
away.
There's a location here in Savannah, too.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Where?
I couldn't figure out where because I think it's been shut down, but there's one person who said that he preached at both the Savannah and Hinesville locations. So,
all right.
Yeah, which again, Hinesville is not that far, so it makes total sense.
Yeah, and Augusta's only about 90 minutes to 2 hours away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, in 2020, one former member stated that they had been recruited to the church at the Welcome Barracks of Fort Stewart by an E5 rank sergeant of the United States Army. So this person's sergeant was a part of the church, and so they got him from the inside.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. So former members described the church's program as proselytizing
Oh, that's a bitch.
It's to military members as soul winning.
Soul winning.
Yeah.
Winning.
So basically, if you got a soldier,
yeah.
it was the best recruit you could possibly get in the eyes of this church and cult.
I cannot understand why, and I am interested to learn.
Yes. Well, because you got to get through all of this to figure out how it led up to this.
Sure. I'm going to go get something out the fridge, wet my whistle. You want anything?
Sure.
Okay. Go for it.
So we'll start out with 2017 when the city of Hinesville just kind of was sick and tired of all of this. So in 2017, Hinesville protests in a town hall meeting occurred. So between May 19th and 21 of May, in 2017, approximately 20 to 30 former members of the church organized a protest outside the Hinesville location.
For a man that hates people, come on, he doesn't love you, Brother Bolger. He's using you. You know it, Brother Bolger. Come on, you guys lie for him. Come on, why do you lie for Dennis? Why? He does not love you. He does not care about you. Go to the website, HOPCC.com.
They accused the organization of being a cult that had engaged in wrongdoing, specifically accusing House of Prayer of manipulating its members and committing abuse. A 2017 article in the Courier suggests that the protests were likely planned to coincide with a nationwide gathering of church members from other branches. So it was not just... So it wasn't just the Hinesville people. Like, they think that other members from other branches of this church were sick and tired of it, so they protested in Hinesville. During the protest, one former member said that said with a megaphone that Dennis was a false prophet.
Ooh. I love when they're false prophets. Those are the best cults.
A month later, on June 21st, a town hall meeting in Hinesville was organized by a local activist for former church members to discuss the church. And during the meeting, current members confronted former members and interrupted their speeches.
Dang.
The Courier reported that these confrontations nearly escalated into fistfights. And former members claimed that the current members were carrying cell phones and wearing earpieces, which led them to believe that they were receiving instructions from church officials.
Oh.
And during the meeting, it was accused that Dennis was committing fraud, and he was accused the church of harassing former members because they left, which is very common in cults. They will make your life hell if you leave the cult, usually. But the Courier also reported that one former member stated during the meeting that Dennis, during a church testimonial, had said that he had lust after young kids.
Oh, Lord. That took a wrong turn.
Yeah. It's so diluted on so many levels. And in the same article that covered the meeting, it was mentioned that in 2016, the Hinesville Police Department collaborated with the Department of Family and Children Services in investigating a child molestation allegation at a church-owned house, which was allegedly occupied by Dennis, his wife, and their daughter.
Good Lord.
The article stated that no charges appeared to have been filed concerning the investigation, which you're probably wondering, like, how? That doesn't necessarily mean that it didn't happen, but as we saw with the 12 tribes and things like that, and a few other cults, even Waco, they would have these run-ins with the law, but the way they would always be able to talk their way out of things, and they would have children sing to the cops, or they would do things like maybe like give the police officers that were there like food or something like that to make it seem like, oh, we could never do that. Look how well we're treating you. Look how much the kids like being here. They're very tricky in that way. And so following the meeting, a scuffle broke out in a nearby parking lot involving some shoving between former and current members.
Okay.
Fortunately, the situation did not escalate further, but around that time of the protests and the town hall meeting, the church began to use several different names to refer to itself, including a place of prayer, place of help, prayer house, and place of help, prayer force, which, wait until we get into the part where I dug into their freaking website, they're already using a different name.
Stop. Wait, they're still going?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Wait, I thought that everyone's arrested and it's done.
The leaders are, but that doesn't mean that there aren't people who were ready to step into that role. I mean, look, it happens.
So it's active. This cult's still active.
It is. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Wait till you get into it. Listen, when I was digging through this website, I was literally jaw dropped. But regardless, Let's talk about the 2020 scandal first. So in 2020, a veterans advocacy group sent a letter to the United States Department of Veteran Affairs requesting an investigation into the church for potential abuses related to the GI Bill programs.
Okay.
Now, the group accused the church of defrauding veterans by offering courses without providing certificates of completion, among other charges. So according to the claims made in the letter submitted by VES, after interviewing 14 former and 1 current church member, House of Prayer engaged in fraudulent activities against current and former military members. The church allegedly misled members who had enrolled in educational classes through the church, aka those seminaries that we were talking about earlier. And veterans were allegedly charged, specifically veterans, were charged higher tuition rates than non-veterans, and misled by church officials about their education benefits, according to VES.
Ooh.
And remember that this bill is so that military personnel can get an education after their service. It pays for their schooling.
Yeah.
So they're using this money that they could be using to go get higher education at a college, and instead they're giving it to this man.
Dang.
How you think he got that Rolls Royce?
Yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah. And so, as per the letter, the House of Prayer would continue to enroll veterans in educational programs that had constantly changing graduation rules until they had exhausted their military education benefits without receiving any form of certificate or degree.
Oh my God. So basically, they're holding classes and they're saying, members, come to these classes. We're going to teach you how to.
You're going to
use
seminary
your-
school.
yeah.
So you can be a pastor once you're done with these classes.
Okay.
And I believe they were saying that they would be guaranteed a job at the church if they completed their seminary
Veterans
classes.
were charged higher tuition rates.
Because they knew that they were getting this money through the GI Bill.
Sheesh.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
exactly.
Okay. Got it.
Also, the church's seminary. Hold on. One fact that is important too. In one case, a student had attended these classes for 12 years without graduation. Because remember, they kept, every time they'd be like, okay, you got to complete these classes, these classes.
He could have been a brain surgeon by then.
Right.
The freak.
And it's like, so this person was taking all these classes and they complete those classes and they're like, well, we changed the graduation requirement. So you have to take these classes now. And he did this for 12 years.
That's what is that? A Ponzi scheme? What is
It
that?
is, basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
Shoot, man.
And
I
so,
could be totally wrong about that.
yeah, so he took these classes for 12 years without graduation, completely draining their GI Bill education allowance in the process. Also, the church's seminaries admitted women despite the church's ban on women becoming pastors. So they were like, you can't be a pastor if you're a woman, but we'll take your money.
Dang.
And so VES,
That's crazy, y'all.
literally, VES claimed that the House of Prayer attempted to extort money from veterans through VA loans and disability benefits. And military members in the church were requested by the church to seek disability assistance for non-existent ailments.
Whoa.
And VES estimated that House of Prayer had received approximately $7 million in government funds through these programs, with $3.5 million specifically allocated to the church's seminaries.
He going to prison for a long time. That is crazy.
Yes, it's literally insane. All of it's insane.
Like, you know, when someone's like truly evil, they act like a lot of them act like a really bad businessman, like a really bad-natured businessman, where they're like, this is happening, no one's exploiting it, we should exploit it.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Exactly. And VES claimed that in 2018 alone, the House of Prayer had received approximately $700,000 in funds from the GI Bill program, just in that 1 year. Additionally, in 2020, the church's seminary in Tacoma received $150,000 in GI Bill funds. The group also claimed that a significant portion of the church's funds was directly transferred to Dennis.
Wow.
And in addition to the accusations of financial misconduct, the VES letter also accused the church of operating like a cult and intimidating members who attempted to leave the organization. And according to a 2022 article published in the Chronicle, military members were primarily targeted due to their consistent income, willingness to follow orders, and geographical isolation from friends and family while stationed at military bases.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
He thought everything, didn't he?
He did. One former church member who was actively involved in the National Guard described the situation as almost like a predator-prey type scenario.
It's not almost like. It's exactly what it is.
Exactly.
They're being preyed upon.
Yes.
They're being targeted, brought in, and then preyed upon.
Exactly. And drained of everything that they have.
Shit.
But that former member mentioned that church leaders had requested information about the member's income and demanded a 10% tithe of their total income. Mm-hmm. They claimed that withholding that amount would be stealing from God.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Military members were also required to surrender their re-enlistment bonuses to the church. And one member even went as far to transfer her $400,000 military life insurance plan to the church, ensuring that the church would receive the funds in the event of her death.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, let's kill her.
Literally.
Like, that's how they're behaving.
That is how they're behaving.
Wow.
And so there were also accusations of real estate wrongdoing. So in 2017, an article came out published in the Courier, reported by a woman named Patty Leon. And it said that several former members have accused Rony Dennis of engaging in real estate fraud and forgery dating back to approximately 2004 and 2005. So Ray York, a former pastor at House of Prayer, revealed that Dennis frequently persuaded church members to purchase houses. Subsequently, Dennis would transfer the properties to a property management company operated by the church through a power of attorney. So he was having the members buy these houses, transfer all of the ownership details to this property management company, but in reality, these houses are now owned by the church.
He's kind of like, don't take this the wrong way, he's kind of like a genius.
Well, yeah, that's what psychopaths are like.
But he's not seeing the end game here.
Yeah.
Like, the government's gonna find out about it. Like,
absolutely.
And they did.
Yeah. And former members reported that the church often used the homes to generate income through refinancing. And occasionally, the properties were allowed to go into foreclosure, which damaged the credit of the property owners.
Jeez.
So in turn, he completely ruined a bunch of the members' credit.
It's white-collar crime.
Mm-hmm. And a former church member referred to the system as real estate money factory and revealed that Dennis had ambitious plans to establish a rental agency, a construction company, and a mortgage department under the church.
He wanted to take over the world.
Mm-hmm. A 2022 article in the Christian Post revealed that the church's real estate transactions were valued at millions of dollars. And according to York, the former pastor there, the church's affiliated property management company, People Helping People, is blacklisted by Fort Lewis and is on the off-limits list at several other military bases, including Fort Stewart.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And so in 2022, there was a raid of the church. So on June 23rd, 2022.
So there's been multiple raids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know there was just a raid.
Exactly.
And it's 2025.
Exactly.
Okay.
So on June 23rd, 2022, the FBI conducted raids on several House of Prayer facilities situated near military bases. These facilities included churches located near Fort Bragg, Fort Gordon, Fort Hood, Fort Stewart, and Joint Base Lewis McChord, as well as one in California. Local law enforcement agencies, including police departments and sheriff's offices that are local, provided assistance to the FBI at many of these locations. According to a spokesperson for the FBI, the Bureau had conducted a court-authorized law enforcement activity, which most likely involved executing a search warrant. The FBI noted that no arrests were made, but gave no reason for the raids. Following the raid, though, a spokesperson from Fort Stewart said that the church might be added to a list of businesses that soldiers are notified to be wary of. And in July 2022, William Hubbard, a vice president at VES, testified before the United States House Committee on Veterans Affairs. The purpose of the testimony was to discuss the recent raids on the House of Prayer and the alleged misconduct that occurred during these raids. Hubbard presented these events as evidence that that more oversight is needed for GI Bill programs. The same month, though, the church's property in Hinesville was seized by the government of the United States after federal agents received warrants from the U.S. District Attorney for the Southern District of Georgia. And by November 2022, regulatory agencies in several states, including Georgia, North Carolina, Texas, and Washington, had prohibited educational organizations affiliated with the House of Prayer from receiving any funding from GI Bill programs. But there was more trouble with the law.
Well, of course there was.
So on January 6, 2023, the United States Department of Justice, DOJ, filed a court document with the Southern District of Georgia. The DOJ sought the forfeiture of approximately $150,000 from 6 bank accounts at First Citizens Bank and South Georgia Bank that were linked to the House of Prayer.
Wow.
In the filing, the Department of Justice accused the House of Prayer of operating a criminal scheme to fraud the United States out of money and its military veterans out of monetary educational benefits through its subsidiary House of Prayer Bible Seminaries, HOPBS.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It is exactly what they did. And the filings revealed that between January 2013 and February 2020, the church hosted educational programs for over 300 veterans. That's insane.
That is insane. That is insane.
House of Prayer engaged in various unethical practices, including falsifying records, misleading students, denying or delaying the provision of documentation to demonstrate their progress in course completion, and altering students' course schedules in classes without their consent.
That is crazy.
I know. And according to the Department of Justice, if HOPBS had provided truthful and accurate information, it would not have been authorized to operate in Georgia. Consequently, it would have not been certified to receive benefits from the post-9/11 GI Bill program and would not have received money from the Department of Veterans Affairs. So even if they did it right, they're not supposed to get this money.
Sure.
Specific charges alleged by the DOJ against House of Prayer include conspiracy to defraud the United States, which, can you imagine getting that charge? Embezzlement of public funds, money laundering, wire fraud, and among other offenses. The Chronicle reported that the department accused the House of Prayer of employing 20 financial institutions and 80 bank accounts as part of its alleged money laundering scheme. The department claimed that a total of 514 veterans were impacted. Between 2013 and 2022, the VA paid approximately $22 million to the church's education subsidiary. Literally.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And Rony Dennis and 9 other church leaders were explicitly mentioned in the court filings, although no individual criminal charges had been filed at that time. And in a filing on April 4th, 2024, after the House of Prayer failed to submit documents to DOJ by September 2023 deadline, DOJ prosecutors accused the church of obstructing their investigation by refusing to provide the requested documentation. In response, House of Prayer claimed that they could withhold documents based on their rights as outlined by the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution. However, federal prosecutors have rejected this argument because that is true.
Yeah.
That's not what the Fifth.
Plead the Fifth. Yeah.
That's not what that covers. The federal prosecutors have filed requests for the religious organization and 3 church members to be held in contempt of court and fined until they produce the required documents. And so here's a photo of at least six of them that were a part of this.
Okay.
So on Wednesday, September 10th, 2025, which is the most recent thing that happened and only a couple days ago, the FBI and Columbia County deputies, so Augusta General Region, conducted a raid on a mansion in Westlake, Georgia. During the raid, they arrested Rony Dennis. Columbia County deputies assisted the FBI with the raid at 3816 Honors Way in Martinez, Georgia, at his mansion, which is humongous. It is ginormous.
Yeah, I saw it in the photo.
It is ginormous.
It's nuts.
And the founder, Rony Dennis, was taken into custody and booked into jail. He goes by the name Rony Dennis, but federal authorities claim that he stole that identity in 1983, leaving them unaware of his true name. Mm-hmm. And the estate that was raided was a nearly 11,000 square foot home with 8 bathrooms and 7 bedrooms.
That's big.
And it was last listed on Zillow for $1.96 million. And that's just one of his homes.
Yeah.
The home is owned by a limited liability partnership known as Union GL Park. Also on September 10th, 2025, a federal court unsealed a 26-count indictment. The indictment charges included, and I pulled this straight from the FBI's website. So Rony Dennis, don't know his real name. I did that because they used some interesting little abbreviations. Age unknown, of Hinesville, Georgia.
So they just lost this guy's identity.
Literally.
Wow.
Yeah, he has been in all I guess, like, lack of a better word, he off the grid for his entire life. Of Hinesville, Georgia, West Palm Beach, Florida, and Martinez, Georgia, with conspiracy to commit bank fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and aiding and assisting in filing a false tax return. Anthony Olones, 54, of Hinesville, Georgia, with conspiracy to commit bank fraud and bank fraud. Joseph Fryer, 51, of Hinesville, Georgia, and Martinez, Georgia, with conspiracy to commit bank fraud and bank fraud. Dennis Nostrand, 55, of Hinesville, Georgia, with conspiracy to commit bank fraud and bank fraud. Gerard Robertson, 57, of Hinesville, Georgia, with conspiracy to commit bank fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. David Reap, 52, of Hinesville, Georgia, with conspiracy to commit bank fraud and bank fraud. Marcus Labatt, 42, of Hinesville, Georgia, with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and wire fraud. And Omar Garcia, 40, of Palm Beach, Florida, with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and wire fraud.
Wow.
Yeah. The maximum penalties for conspiracy to commit bank fraud and bank fraud are up to 30 years in prison, a fine of up to $1 million, and a maximum of 5 years of supervised release. The maximum penalties for conspiracy to commit wire fraud and wire fraud are up to 20 years in prison, a fine of up to $250,000, and a maximum of 3 years of supervised release. The maximum penalties for aiding and assisting in the filing of a false tax return are up to 3 years in prison and a fine of up to $150,000 and a maximum of 1 year in supervised release. The indictment alleges that the group's leader assumed that identity of Rony Dennis, which he allegedly occurred in 1983. In 2002, he adopted that identity and became a U.S. citizen.
Ooh.
And subsequently, he founded HOPCC and its affiliated institution, House of Prayer Bible Seminary, HOPBS. The indictment accuses Dennis and his close associates, including Anthony Olones, Joseph Fryer, Dennis Nostrand, Gerard Robertson, David Reap, and Marcus Labatt, and Omar Garcia, of using their leadership positions to exert excessive control over their congregants. The indictment accuses the members of being deceived into disclosing personal information, coerced into marriages and divorces orchestrated by church leaders, and compelled to reside in properties associated with the defendants that generated rental income. So basically, they would charge rent to their congregants for houses that congregants bought.
That's crazy.
The defendants are also accused of exploiting military personnel by recruiting them into the church, directing them to enroll in HOPBS, and then utilizing their Veterans Administration benefits to funnel money into church-controlled accounts. Leaders allegedly disguised their payouts to themselves as expense reimbursements, love offerings, and similar terms.
Love offerings. Mm-hmm.
And that is on a government website that they called them love offerings.
Love offerings.
They also use fraudulently obtained funds to pay credit card bills for the defendants. And the indictment elaborates on how leaders maintained a list of ex-HOPCC traitors, publicly humiliated members for alleged rule violations, and restricted contact with family members who left the church.
Traitors.
Which is literally what cults do. So,
oh, yeah. This is super culty.
Yeah.
Just a modern cult.
Yeah. Very modern.
It's weird.
Yeah. So with the bank fraud scheme, according to the indictment from 2004 until the present, the defendants, including Rony Dennis, Anthony Olones, Joseph Fryer, Dennis Nostrand, Gerard Robertson, and David Reap, along with others, engaged in a prolonged conspiracy to defraud financial institutions. The defendants allegedly recruited members of their organization to act as straw buyers in real estate transactions, thereby concealing the identities of the actual buyers, aka the church. They were using the members as pawns. Wow. And in turn, ruining their credit, which is horrific. They falsified loan applications and closing documents, forged powers of attorney, and formed limited liability corporations to acquire and transfer properties.
They're like, this is already illegal. Let's just
let's
go for it.
Literally. After taking control of these properties, they transferred them into rental homes, generating over $5.2 million in rental income between 2018 and 2020. After the initial indictments, the latest indictment, which is that of a man named Bernadelle Simonext, which I have no idea if that's how his name is actually pronounced, but he was a pastor of House of Prayer of Hinesville in Savannah. He is 35 years old and focuses on child sex crimes. Simonext is charged with enticement of a minor to engage in sexual activity, sexual abuse of a minor, transfer of obscene material to a minor, receipt of child pornography, and possession of child pornography.
These are some bad people.
Really bad people.
It's Simexant.
Simexant.
Weird.
It's Semexant. Simexant. May have worked...
look up, see where it is in Savannah.
Yeah, so
I'm listening.
He may have worked at multiple HOPCC locations around the United States. The church has locations in the following areas in Georgia, in Hephzibah, Hinesville, and Savannah. So he might have very well been a part of all three of those. But as for the members, a former member of the church told WSAV it was a cult at its core. It was a cult that was a real estate / veteran affairs scam. Taina Moreno, who was raised in the House of Prayer Church in Washington until she was a teenager, at the age of 17, she moved to Hinesville for school because church leaders had forbidden their members from attending public schools. So already, also, just on that front, very cult-like activity. And this person said, we were always made to feel like Rony Dennis is this man of God and how he prays for everybody, Moreno said. Of course, we started wondering different things about why he disappeared, and we weren't seeing him anymore, and he wasn't interacting with the church. Everybody just kind of tried to brush it off as well, he's doing important things. Obviously, we know now that it was not the case. Moreno left the church in 2021, but said during her time there, it was always a pressure to give money. Over the process of time, they were just demanding more and more money out of us, and they were funding all these so-called missionary trips, which we'll talk about in just a bit, and asking for members to constantly donate, Moreno said. My ex-husband was giving money like all the time, just so much money and offerings. Moreno also knew a victim of the alleged sexual misconduct.
Okay.
There would be comments all the time like he is really weirdly close with teenagers and has a very weird friendship with them, and he's not the only one, Moreno said.
Oh, boy.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure as the weeks go by and months go by, we're going
to find out more, yeah.
Yeah, this is just like, it's already a pretty exposed onion, but this onion's got layers to it.
Sounds like it.
So let's talk about their website. And you can go to it still. I mean, so if you look up this church, so you know when you go on Google and you look up a business and it has the little link where you can hit website, this is what pops up. They have now changed their name to On Fire Ministries.
On Fire Ministries.
So when you go to the church's website, the first thing that pops up is On Fire Ministries, which quickly has a disclaimer on it that states, and I quote, On Fire Missions is not affiliated with any church group or religious organization, yet it is on their website, but rather a community of missions enthusiasts that desire to promote missions. Find out more at the On Fire Mission statement page. Again, This is what pops up when you click on their website. And there is so much about House of Prayer that is still on the website that it is very clear that they are associated. And this is a photo that pops up.
Oh, my Lord.
On Fire Missions, rekindling a zeal for missions all throughout the world. And don't worry, I have screenshots in case this goes away.
Yes, you do.
So here is that disclaimer that I was just saying.
If you're listening on Spotify, you can switch it to video and see some of this.
Yes.
It's crazy.
But yet the website is deeply interconnected with all of their media and beliefs, ironically, including their radio station, House of Prayer Christian Church Radio, that broadcasts on XM Sirius Channel 131 at 8:30 p.m. every Saturday.
Jeez.
Yeah. And so here is another description with some photos also.
Okay, yeah.
House of Prayer Christian Church, which they're not associated with any church, but literally a few scrolls down, this is what pops up. House of Prayer Christian Church has a vibrant Jewish Christian ministry and has had 6 powerful missionary trips to Israel. Below is a sample of pictures of House of Prayer traveling to Israel. And so here's all those photos. Mm-hmm. Immediately after this, there is propaganda about how the FBI is trashing Christians. I kid you fucking not. And this is what it says. This is directly underneath it. Evidence of Joe Biden's anti-Christian bias. Video footage of the FBI trashing Christians. Never before seen videos of when the FBI raided House of Prayer Christian Church in Georgia on June 23rd, 2022. The footage is shocking and compelling. And so I did link it down below. So if we want to watch the videos on live, we can't, but there are 5 of them. So
all right, I'll link them down below. And if you're watching on YouTube, Debris will probably
insert them.
Insert them. Yeah.
But yeah,
if they're still up.
Yeah. But
if you're not seeing it,
that's why.
But
I do have the screenshots that show there is a video, and there's 5 of them.
Maddie's over here just snapping screenshots. Like,
because listen, they are currently in a major FBI raid right now. So
surprised this is up.
Yeah. And it's like security cam footage too, which is crazy. And it literally watches members being arrested. But so the next one says video footage showing evidence of anti-Christian bias in prosecution by the Biden FBI and DOJ against House of Prayer Christian Church. Evidence of the Joseph Biden administration, anti-Christian, anti-Semitic, which they've never been Jewish related, so this is new information. Biased agenda and weaponization of the FBI and Justice Department under Merrick Garland's persecution against Jews and Christians.
Wait, and it's On Fire Ministries. They say they're not associated with
a
church, but it says HOPCC onfire.com.
Thank you. Literally.
I don't think they know what they're doing.
They
I don't
don't.
think whoever's running the website doesn't know how to run a website.
No, they don't. And
they're just on Squarespace or Wix, like, I guess this is going to work.
Yes. And so the next one is FBI. This is on their website also. They showed a whole Savannah Morning News article. FBI raids Georgia churches near military bases. Sources say church was targeting soldiers, and they're saying this is propaganda.
Okay.
And so...
No, it's not.
It's not. Because they do little captions too. Yeah. Please go read this because it's honestly comical.
Yeah.
How ridiculous it is. And then the last one is 5 House of Prayer Christian churches were raided by the FBI on June 23rd, 2022, 46 days before the FBI raided President Trump's Mar-a-Lago, which was on August 8th, 2022, which I think they're trying to say there's some sort of FBI corruption here, but that's not the case. And if you zoom into it, this also has some clips of the raid itself. But
wow. Yeah, I believe. That's crazy.
And so the last one, and you go through, the descriptions for each video. So video 1 is the FBI raiding the Assembly of Prayer Christian Church in Hinesville, Georgia on June 23rd, 2022, making young, innocent, and harmless church members come out of their rooms in their underwear, then shouting profanities inside a church to people who posed no threat and absolutely did nothing wrong nor violated any laws. Not accurate. Video 2, the FBI raiding the House of Prayer Christian Church in Hinesville, Georgia on June 23rd, 2022, apprehending with weapons drawn innocent and harmless as doves church members who posed no threat, did not have any guns, did not do anything wrong, nor violated any laws. Video 3, the FBI raiding the Assembly of Prayer Christian Church in Hinesville, Georgia on June 23rd, 2022, apprehending with guns drawn and pointed at a Christian pastor, his wife, and teenage son, who roughly handling the pastor and grabbing him by his shirt collar. Video 4, the FBI raiding the House of Prayer Christian Church in Hinesville, Georgia on June 23rd, 2022, utterly trashing a church by using battering rams to bust down doors, trashing facilities used for Sunday school and a homeschool program, raiding a print shop and that publishes Christian literature and magazines, etc. And then the last one, video 5, the FBI raiding the House of Prayer Christian Church in Hinesville, Georgia on June 23rd, 2022, showing the FBI vehicles race into the church's parking lot, apprehend an innocent and harmless church member who was cleaning the sanctuary, and open the door with the FBI proceeding to raid an empty Christian sanctuary with weapons drawn.
Wow.
They're still going hard.
Yeah.
And so now I have some photos for you. If you didn't already switch over, this would be a good time. Of the missions that they go on, because they have sent missionaries all over the world, which is very cult-like as well. So here they are at Dachau concentration camp in Germany.
I've been there.
Yeah, which is odd.
Yeah.
Odd choice.
Sure is. Well, they said Jewish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not an odd choice.
But they've never associated themselves with Jewish practices unless they were using this in case of, of a backup sort of deal. But House of Prayer missionary trip to Israel on November 18th, 2013 to December 3rd, 2013. House of Prayer in Haiti. A picture of the Jewish Western Wall, a sacred place that the missionaries spent time to pray. House of Prayer at Buckingham Palace in London. House of Prayer in a Jewish synagogue in the mountains of Morocco.
Boys went on vacation.
Literally. I thought the same thing. Brazil. HOPCC at the Vatican. The University of Ibadan in Nigeria in 2009. House of Prayer in Mexico. House of Prayer in Paris. And mind you, they're not going to rough places that need actual aid. They're going to tourist destinations. They went to Rio de Janeiro, y'all. That was where they went in Brazil.
Yeah.
But then this is them singing somewhere.
Yeah.
But they also have multiple ministries.
A mobile chapel. That's cool.
So they have, just like how 12 Tribes has little branches out to bring people in through, like, we're doing good, this is how we recruit people. They have multiple of these that are still operating. So if you hear about these in your area, be wary. But Bikers for Christ, Truck Stop Ministry, Azusa Street Pentecostal Revival in America, and Lecrae's On Fire Prison Ministry and Cross the Sky Ministry. So the Truck Stop Ministry, they make these little mini mobile chapels, and they park them.
Honestly, good idea.
They park that. Well, they're doing this as a recruitment tactic.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So they build these so the truckers can stop and utilize them. Azusa Street Pentecostal Revival, which is based off of the teachings of William Joseph Seymour, who later affectionately known was as Daddy Seymour. He was alive from May 2nd, 1970 to September 28th, 1922. He was an African-American minister who created many of the stereotypes we associate with Pentecostal churches. So like the snakes and the like falling over, getting hit with the spirit, that type of stuff. This one shook me.
So Lecrae, I know Lecrae.
Yes, this one shook me.
He's not involved in this, is he?
He is, but I don't think he fully understands what's going on. I at least hope so, because Lecrae is if you've never been a part of any kind of church youth program, Lecrae was really big in the mid to early 2000s, especially. But he is an African-American rapper who performs and preaches to incarcerated individuals. So,
oh my Lord.
Yeah.
He better not be in this.
Well, and so that's what I'm saying. So this program is affiliated with this church.
Yeah.
But I don't think, from what I gathered, he actually is
understood that it was he was probably like, oh, I want to help.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's help.
Yeah. At least from what I gather. Yeah. But his name is on their website. Mm-hmm. And then the creepiest one is Cross the Sky Ministry. And this specializes in providing resources for youth group ministries. Many youth group programs perform kits and mime dramas. So here are the children miming.
Yes, they are. Which
also, I will say, is not uncommon from evangelical programs. Mm-hmm. So if you've ever watched the Teen Mania documentary, you'll see they talk about that as well. But Cross the Sky Ministries has published 3 unique mime dramas that can be presented in churches on a mission trip or in an outreach ministry in a local area. The mime presentations include scene descriptions, costumes, song lyrics, and many other essential components for live performance dramas.
Wow.
The Shine mime drama features the gospel story with songs from the River of Mercy soundtrack. The Shine mime drama is often performed during the Easter time frame and presented on youth missionary trips. They also promote, this is new, their free seminary program.
Damn.
So they didn't get rid of the seminary program, they just made it free now. Which I'm sure they're going to, in another way, extort money out of them. But up front, this is abiding what the FBI wanted. They also have a magazine called the Gethsemane Press. Gethsemane Press, HOPBS magazine. And then they also have a section on their website called Persecution. And here's what's on it.
The smallest violin in the world. Can you hear it?
Literally. I'm not fucking kidding you.
Not persecution.
I cackled when I clicked on it. And this is what's on it. So you have this screenshot from the raid. You have the FBI. They titled "The FBI Busting Down a Sunday School Room with a Battering Ram."
Dang.
They have this screenshot, the FBI making a harmless, innocent young Christian lady walk out of the church with her hands up.
That's crazy.
And this is what else is on there. So throughout history, persecution has been a somber reality for many who have chosen to follow their faith. As believers in Christ, we are reminded of Jesus' word in Luke 21:17 NIV. Everyone will hate you because of me. This profound statement encapsulates the essence of what it means to stand firm in one's belief amid opposition. In a world where cultural conflicts are increasingly visible, Christians and Jewish people find themselves marginalized, mocked, and ridiculed. This fact was evidenced by video footage showing the Joe Biden anti-Christian biased FBI trashing innocent church members of the House of Prayer Christian Church in Georgia on June 23rd, 2022. This is all directly from their website. This is not a new phenomenon. Jesus has already warned his disciples about future persecution. John 15:18 NIV states, "If the world hates you, keep in mind that it hated me first." These prophetic words serve as a reminder that hatred towards believers is not simply a reflection of personal shortcomings, but rather a continuation of the animosity directed towards Christ himself. The reality today is alarming. Many individuals are swift to label biblical teachings as outdated or irrelevant, often arguing that they have no place in modern society. This cultural shift has led to increased discrimination against those who adhere to Christian and Jewish values.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So again, I'm sure we will hear more as the time comes out, but it sounds like they have no plans of stopping their organization. No. So hopefully this will tell you, if you hear somebody you know starting to get involved with any of their affiliated programs, maybe guide them a different way.
I just can't believe it's still active.
They're not going to stop. They're like roaches. They don't die.
That's crazy.
Literally.
Like, I mean, the FBI has been just drilling them nonstop for the past 5 years, and they're just like,
gotta keep going.
Gotta keep going.
Yeah. So
you're right. Like, it's an onion. Like, it's deep.
It is.
This is a deep coal.
It is. And because of that, I don't think we can technically rate this.
Not yet.
Not yet. Until everything is said and done. But regardless, it's a fascinating case. Mm-hmm. And I will continue to keep following it.
Oh, we know.
Yeah. So
she finds it so interesting.
It's fascinating. It really is. These people are delusional. But
it's crazy.
Regardless, hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe and hit all the buttons on YouTube or Spotify or wherever you're listening to this today. And my name is Madison Timmons.
And I'm JT Timmons.
And make sure when you're walking down the street that you know that you might be passing a perfect 10.